Hello. You are about to hear the 100th episode of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, which was recorded live on December 19th, 2018 at the Burbank Central Library in Burbank, California, literally in the shadow of a bust of Burbank founder Dr. David Burbank, DDS, R.I.P. As this was a live recording in an out-of-doors location, I was unable to guarantee the pristine audio quality you have come to expect from this program. Please bear with some early glitches. They clear up fairly quickly. Thank you for your attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello and welcome to this live taping of the 100th episode of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program, or IJP, where I ask the question, whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? I'm your host, Brian Thompson. We are taping live near the parking lot of the Burbank Central Library in Burbank, California, and there is a huge crowd. I prepared these statements before the crowd arrived. There's a crowd of one, but there's room for more, and perhaps more will be arriving. Is this gentleman arriving for the... Hello? Excuse me, sir? Excuse me, sir? Are you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's? He's shaking his head now. Okay. We are taping live, as I said. I will get to know the crowd in a moment, but first, please allow me to explain to any new listeners why this library is so significant to the program. Many months ago, I hit one of my dead ends in my investigation into whatever happened to pizza at McDonald's, and as I often do when I need to take a break from reality and escape into a less frustrating world of fictional fantasy, I decided to watch the film Willow. Luckily, I discovered that the Burbank Central Library listed a DVD of Willow as being available for checkout on their computer database system. But when I arrived at the library, I discovered the DVD was nowhere to be found. This launched a series of events, which included my trying and failing to convince the library employees to let me review their security tapes and or file a police report about their stolen Willow DVD. Unable to dislodge the story of Willow from my mind, I wrote a treatment for a sequel to Willow, which I attempted to produce. This crossover between the Willow and Beastmaster franchises is called Willow 2, Through the Portal of Time. And it is still possible that director Ron Howard himself will use it as a basis for a potential Willow sequel, assuming we can negotiate a fair fee for myself. I admit I was disappointed when the employees of this very library refused to pursue all legal avenues in recovering their stolen Willow DVD. This is not a matter concerning just us, as in those of us who are card-carrying members of the Burbank Public Library system. It is also a matter of just us, which is a slightly incorrect way of pronouncing the word justice. But I have since realized... Is this man here for the... He's picking up leaves, but a lot of my listeners are very anti-litter. He has his headphones in. He's probably not here for the... justice. But I have since realized that a librarian's calling is not DVDs, but is instead books. I cannot blame them for not caring whether a disc thief is roaming the streets, selling hot copies of out-of-print fantasy epics for extortionist prices, as long as no one is threatening their precious paper tomes. This is why I have brought to the Burbank Central Library my copy of the novelization of the film Willow, which I purchased on the Electronic Bay for a very reasonable price. The section in the middle, which once held many full-color stills from the film itself, has been ripped out, either by an unscrupulous photo dealer or by a Willow-loving teen seeking to cheaply decorate his or her locker. But the important parts, the pages printed with words, are fully intact, and I hope by donating this book to the library, I will be able to spread the story of Willow to untold numbers of readers who, for some reason, do not own a DVD player or even a VCR.
I think that's honorable.
Thank you. But we have some time before the library opens, so I would now like to get to know the audience. And as we speak, it's still just one person. Keoni, let's talk to you first. Obviously, I already know your name. We spoke before the recording began, full disclosure. Why are you here, I guess is my first question.
Well, good morning, Brian. I appreciate you doing this podcast and everything that you do in this honorable pursuit.
Thank you.
Great job. So I just came off a graveyard shift and conveniently hit episode 99 today on my drive here because I had seen the Instagram post.
I did post on Instagram instructions, very detailed instructions, and I thought very useful and helpful instructions, but clearly not detailed and useful enough for some people. I have now gotten to know the audience. Now I would like to thank Dunkin Donuts, who provided catering services for this taping in the form of a box of donuts, which I purchased at their drive-thru using my own money. Perhaps one of the audience members who was fortunate enough to try one of these donuts would like to offer a personal testimonial. Now, again, I wrote these prepared remarks earlier before I realized there would only be one person here, and you have no reason to try a donut because you brought your own breakfast from McDonald's. May I ask what you ordered from McDonald's for breakfast?
I picked up sausage McMuffin with egg as well as a McGriddle. I figured those are good breakfast staples there, and I figured if this morning is an occasion, if any.
And so which of those do you think you prefer?
I've recently started to enjoy the McGriddle a bit more. I think it's the combination of the sweet and the savory and the salty that kind of really makes that stand out.
So that's a sandwich where the bread is two pancakes?
Yeah, with like maple syrup kind of incorporated in that. It's really a monstrosity.
You know, it makes you wonder why McDonald's can create pancake sandwiches every single morning without a hitch to their system, yet somehow creating what is ostensibly a pancake, but with marinara sauce, pepperoni cheese, etc., is outside of their grasp. Any insight into this?
Would it be so hard to make like a... I mean, I guess I'm a food scientist, and I should be able to say this, but...
I should have gotten to this in the getting to know you section. You're a food scientist. Explain what that means.
Well, I'm only 24, so I'm pretty early on in my career. So right now I do ingredient science. I work doing quality assurance as a lab technician there, making sure it's up to spec with what the customer expects and what the customer wants as well, or company expects.
Well, as one of the privileged few who's actually tried McDonald's pizza before, I can say that their food scientists were at the top of their game because it was indeed fairly good for the price. Now, as an expert in this field, how ludicrous is it, in your professional opinion, that McDonald's claims not to be able to create pizza in a reasonable amount of time?
Honestly, and this is kind of a thought that I had as you're speaking now, like, how hard would it be to essentially take one of their not their breakfast, but like their dessert apple pies and essentially make a Hot Pocket? Is that something that's out of the realms of possibility there?
It was indeed within the realm of possibility, and this is a bit of a point of contention because every now and then, in fact, a little more than every now and then, people on social media refer to McDonald's pizza as McPizza. It was not called McPizza. McPizza was a very particular item. It was exactly as you just described. It was a Hot Pocket style item with pizza fillings that was available in certain test markets. And even though I have posted photographic evidence on social media of the sleeves that the McPizza came in, proving my case that it is not the same as McDonald's pizza, people continue to conflate the two. And one of my missions in life, in addition to bringing back McDonald's pizza, is to stop this particular madness.
Just education. You're really, educating people on this, and honestly, yeah, it's helped educate me as well.
I appreciate that. So, back to Dunkin Donuts. Sure.
Bad boys down here.
Let's see. I'm sorry, I didn't get any napkins. Maybe you have some in your greasy McDonald's bag.
I do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are glazed, and they will glaze your fingers, I would imagine.
Nothing like...
I apologize for that.
Open-air donuts.
They should be professionally sealed.
They are.
For quality assurance.
There you go, right? Perhaps you want to eating this as I'm destroying your box.
I am watching my figure, so but I would
phenomenal, by the way. In person, over the podcast you can't really hear it, but in person it's godlike.
Investigative journalism program, but thank you. So,
sorry.
please indulge in the donut and tell me how it is. I think this would be very valuable.
It's not bad. A little light on the glaze. Doughy.
You seem deep in thought.
I'm thinking about how much a nice warm beverage would go with this.
If Dunkin Donuts or any other donut establishment, or frankly any business whatsoever, would like to offer a lucrative sponsorship to this program, I would happily hear your proposal. As you just witnessed, you, the listener at home, whatever happened to Pizza at McDonald's offers brands a valuable opportunity to connect with consumers on a personal level. And I was recently thrust into a precarious financial situation myself after an unfortunate garden slug debacle, and I could really use some sponsorship funds. Dunkin Donuts, if you're listening. And actually, on that note, I would also like to ask any audience members, I guess just you, not to follow me to my car after this taping, as it is also my home, and I do not have room to entertain guests. Moving on. Earlier this week, I asked listeners who would be unable or unwilling to attend this taping to submit questions via twitter.com, which I promised to answer on the air, and I intend to make good on that promise at this very moment. So let us begin with a question from listener John, parentheses, very legal, very cool, close parentheses, who asks, if pizza could disappear from McDonald's, could hamburgers be next? Thank you for your question, Mr. John. I would say that it is very possible, however unlikely, that hamburgers could be removed from the McDonald's menu. Many might say hamburgers are the cornerstone of the business and are thus safe from elimination, but keep in mind that pizza would have undoubtedly surpassed hamburgers in raw sales numbers were it allowed to thrive. So McDonald's is indeed a business and not a charity. Its purpose, beyond providing reasonably delicious food for a reasonable price, is to turn a profit. Thus, if one were to say it is impossible for McDonald's to stop selling their profitable hamburgers, it would logically follow that it would be impossible for them to stop selling their potentially even more profitable pizza. And we know for a fact that this is not the case. So the question is, what force had both the power and the will to make McDonald's discontinue their pizza program? I intend to answer this question in the course of my investigation. But I can say with certainty that this force is capable of anything, up to and including setting its sights on hamburgers. Spooky M vertical bar dash / heart emoji, rainbow flag emoji, ghost emoji, jack-o'-lantern emoji, crystal ball emoji writes, should McDonald's ever serve pizza again, what would be your dream set of toppings and or selections? Thank you for your question, Spooky. And allow me to preface my answer with a quote. Quote, I lost my sense of trust, honesty, and compassion. I crashed down and became what I consider an emotional mess. I've never been so miserable in my whole life. I just wanted to go to bed and never get up. Unquote. Thank you. Those wise words were spoken by Shania Twain. And I believe they apply to this situation as well. I trust in McDonald's to provide a topping selection that is most efficient for them and most convenient for the general public. So my dream would be for McDonald's pizza to return with its standard options: plain cheese, pepperoni, or deluxe. And as someone who values a value, I would obviously choose deluxe. Now, as a food scientist, Keoni, run me through what goes into consideration when a fast food restaurant such as McDonald's is deciding what toppings to offer on an item such as pizza.
Well, if a company such as McDonald's were to consider this, obviously, budget will play a huge role in that. If a company can't necessarily fund a sort of project or ambition, they generally wouldn't, but with a big company like McDonald's, they pretty much
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly. So then, usually, I guess the biggest things that you would want to look for, obviously, is I think your number one thing will be food safety is number one. You can't really do anything that's going to be harmful to people in any way, so that's something you're going to want to look out for.
They will have to wash their hands upon returning from the restroom.
Exactly. There you go. And just, I guess, the widespread ability of the ingredients that they can obtain. Is it something that they can create and make consistently and ship out, hopefully nationwide?
Hopefully.
Yeah, so you want to see something that you can source from various, I guess, ingredient companies, and can this be something that we can distribute consistently and create this product? And as obviously you have your sensory science and sensory tests, and which you'd probably do in-house for a while until you kind of have a right formulation that can be replicated out in the field.
You've proven your bona fides, and I thank you for your candor. Robert Parrott asks, Jesus Ben David famously encoded prophecies in the book Bible. Did Wayland Drew, George Lucas, and Bob Dolman encode similar information in the book Willow, a novel? Now, for those who don't know, I don't know where I put my copy of Willow. It is a novel by Wayland Drew based on a screenplay by Bob Dolman from a story by George Lucas. So that's who those people are. Now, thank you for your question, Mr. Parrott. The honest answer is that I do not know. In order to discover codes encoded in any book, one must be willing to deface the book itself by circling letters on the pages as one would circle letters on a word search. And as previously mentioned on an episode of our sister program, Intriguing Conversations, I attempted to learn how to respectfully dispose of a defaced Bible after I accidentally sneezed on mine. And I was never able to receive a satisfying answer, so I would be hesitant to purposefully deface another copy of Bible by searching for codes. And the same goes for my copy of the novelization of Willow. It has already seen enough vandalism in regards to its pages of full-color photographs from the film having been torn out. However, I do have a copy of the non-canonical Willow sequel novel, Shadow Moon, Chronicles of the Shadow War, Book 1, which I was happy to deface in search of codes. However, the only message I found in the book was the phrase, corn knuckles, and I do not know what that means. Any insight into what corn knuckles might mean?
Beats me.
Robert Parrott risked abusing the privilege of submitting questions by submitting another question. He asked, what does it mean that Willow spelled backward is almost Willow? And I'm sorry to disappoint you again, Mr. Parrott, but again, I must say I do not know. I avoid saying or spelling words backwards, as that is the language of Satan himself. And now I'll take questions from the audience. As we speak, still just the one audience member. Excuse me, are you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's? It's a woman speaking with a man. They're stretching. The man is stretching his leg. The woman is tapping her arm like she's preparing for an injection. Are you here for the... I'll go approach them. Excuse me. Hi. Are you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's?
Not speaking English, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Doesn't speak English. So I guess I'll just take a question from you, Keoni, if you have one.
I do. And, I guess I have, obviously, aside from the congratulations that this is your 100th episode of your ongoing investigation.
Yeah, thank you. I would applaud myself, but I'm holding my telephone as a microphone.
So I have a question that if there are nefarious powers behind the disappearance of McDonald's pizza, do you have a contingency plan should anything happen to you?
I do. I have my records, my files are in a secure location that I will not reveal. It's one reason why it's paramount that I am able to secure some sort of a sponsorship situation immediately, as I've been driven out of house and home. Obviously, I didn't keep my most important records at my house because I knew that something could possibly happen. I have heard of doxxing. Have you heard of doxxing on the internet?
I'm not very techy at all. I'm sorry.
Well, I read about this phenomenon where bad actors will find out where you live and publish that information online. It's called doxing. And I was always fearful that might happen. So my files are in a secure location, but it is without giving away too many details, it's the type of secure location where you have to pay a monthly fee. They're behind a very secure door with a lock on it. It's a small space, but it's
valuable,
quite expensive to maintain. And I am a little bit behind on my payments.
Oh, no.
They have threatened to sell my files to potentially a group of people who just buy such secure locations sight unseen. In fact, they go to war with each other.
Yeah.
To do so. So, Dunkin Donuts or anyone else, if you're listening again, you could go a long way towards protecting me, protecting my investigation, and securing the future for all humanity by sponsoring this program. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. And then I kind of have, an add-on to that. Do you perhaps have like a pre-recorded episode ready should anything happen, spelling out what we, the listeners, should do?
Yes, I do have an episode. Every couple of days I have to log into a Wix website that I created for free, a beautiful website I created for free on the service Wix. And I have to just press a button to make sure I'm still alive. If that button goes unpressed for more than 3 days, then it will automatically publish an episode of the show, which, God ben David forbid, would be an indication that I have deceased in some way or otherwise been incapacitated.
We hope to never hear.
We do hope to never hear. And please, if you do hear that episode, do not assume that I am dead immediately. Please find my automobile. It's a 2004 Honda Civic. Knock on the window. I might just have overslept.
I have an 07 Honda Civic. How about that?
That's amazing. What an amazing coincidence.
Nice shoes, by the way, also.
Oh, thank you. I've been forced to wear these sneakers because I, of course, lost one of my other shoes in Warner Brothers Studios. Which, by the way, I did receive an update on that situation as well. Listeners who may not remember, I infiltrated Warner Brothers Studios to try to search the prop room for the television program Young Sheldon. I left one of my shoes on the studio lot. It was a Keds brand white sneaker. And I did receive a phone call from the watch commander of the security at Warner Brothers Studios saying that they did search the area and did not find my shoe.
Maybe it'll show up on an episode of Young Sheldon on accident.
Yes, on, quote, accident, unquote. Now, I believe we're quickly approaching the library's opening time. And before I donate my copy of the novelization of Willow, I would like to do everything I can to make sure this book is not stolen, like the DVD was. Indeed, I would like to guarantee that only good fortune befalls this tome and the people who would check it out. So, on the other side of this block is a house of worship, the St. Robert Bellarmine Catholic Church. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. St. Robert Bellarmine Catholic Church. And inside, there should be a priest who, among other abilities, I've been led to believe has been granted the power to bless inanimate objects by God ben David himself. So, Keoni, if you would care to join me, I invite you to walk with me to the church and request that a clergyman there perform a blessing on my novelization of Willow.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. For those listening at home, I'll almost certainly edit out this journey down the street, as I am sure it will prove to be quite boring. So we've reached the church. Keoni has brought the donuts. There seems to be some sort of event going on. There's a table with potted plants on it and some people lingering outside, but hopefully we can find a clergy person and not interrupt any sort of event. Oh, there's a van parked outside with flower arrangements.
I feel underdressed.
I hope this isn't a funeral.
I'm seeing black at the back.
I'll go look into what's happening here. It seems like an odd hour for a funeral.
Denim and black.
Yes, there is a man in denim, so I assume it isn't a somber occasion. But there is a hearse. Well,
By my condolences.
yes, my condolences as well. I can't imagine who else in the area might have the power to bless a book. But this
around back.
I this is my fault. I should have consulted the obituaries before.
You're only human. You can't predict death.
Oh, well, thank you.
Misfortune.
I hope God Ben David blesses and keeps the soul of whoever it was that lost their life within the past 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days.
Possibly.
What's the longest it's socially acceptable to wait after a death for a funeral?
I deal with food. I wouldn't know people.
Oh, that's very scientific of you to not speak outside of your area of expertise. There's a gymnasium with a cross on it, but I don't imagine that the priest is working out before a funeral service. Well, I guess we'll just go without getting my copy of Willow blessed. Maybe nobody will steal it. So let's just head to the library then and see.
Wow. This
Well,
is not a joke. This is absolutely not a joke.
No, there's nothing on this program has ever been a joke, but you are correct. This is not one. So while we're heading back to the library, I did print out the library guidelines for donations, and I guess I should consult those considering my lack of preparation just ended in disaster otherwise. So let's see. The library donation guidelines. We are happy to accept clean, unmarked, gift quality items, gently used books. That's what I have. Commercially recorded CDs, DVDs, or Blu-rays. Commercially recorded, so I guess independent labels are off the table for them. It's good to know.
You can't slip in your Willow 2, huh?
I can't slip in my Willow 2, and I guess I couldn't slip in my album, Songs in the Pizza Slice. It is on an independent label, Pizza McDonald's Records. Magazines, less than 1 year old. Textbooks, less than 2 years old. Computer books, less than 2 years old. We cannot accept... Oh, no. We cannot accept damaged books. As I said before, the section of my copy of the novelization of Willow that features fabulous 8 pages of color photographs has been torn out. So I don't know if they will accept this, but I guess we can go see. Library hours, Monday through Thursday, 9:30. Oh, 9:30, and it's...
What time is it now?
It's 9:11, which is fitting, because today has turned out to be quite the disaster. Well, they probably wouldn't have accepted it anyway because it's damaged, so I guess I'll be holding on to my copy of the novelization of Willow, and I guess that's the end of our program. Keoni, I want to thank you for coming. I'm sorry this ended in such disappointment. Maybe for our 200th episode, we'll have more success with whatever it is on the table at that time.
I want to say, thank you for all that you're doing and having me around. And, should you keep this ambition, if you see it through where they bring it back, I just, I want to munch.
Thank you. I think America, Europe, Asia, Africa, even Australia, and dare I say Antarctica would also want to munch were McDonald's pizza to return. Thanks everyone for listening, and thank you for thinking about or planning to attend, even if you didn't show up. There's a couple of people here. Maybe they did show up for are taping. Let's just ask a couple of people who are at the library. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Were you here by any chance for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's?
Say that again?
Were you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Ma'am, were you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's?
Excuse me?
Were you here for the live taping of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's this morning at the library?
Oh, what is that? I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's an investigative journalism program about why McDonald's stopped serving pizza.
They served pizza at one time.
They did indeed, yes. It was in the late 80s and the early 1990s. But
Are you recording me?
yes, yeah, this is a live episode of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism
Is it
program.
going live? Will it be... I mean...
This is going out to millions of people.
Internationally?
Yes, of course. Internationally. It was an international...
What? Television? How is it going?
This is going out to...
Radio?
well, it's internet audio entertainment, so...
Podcast?
Well, it's an investigative journalism program. It's surpassed podcast quality, but... so I'm recording. This is the 100th episode, and...
Really?
Just... Yes.
What's your guys' website name?
It's Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, so you can go to pizza@mcdonalds.com, or you can search for Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's.
This is the 100th episode.
Yes.
I thought that would just be the name of this certain segment.
Oh, no.
What
This
have
is...
you done like recently that you could let me watch?
Well, I've just been looking into why McDonald's stopped serving pizza, and there's
For 100 episodes straight.
100 episodes, yes. And hopefully
It's a lot of
100 more.
Your name?
My name is Brian Thompson.
Your name?
Keoni.
This is Keoni, my friend.
Interesting.
Well, thank you for talking to us. So you've never heard of McDonald's Pizza?
No, so that's the website. What's the website again?
Pizza@mcdonalds.com.
Pizza@mcdonalds.com.
Yes, you can find the show there. But were McDonald's Pizza to return, do you think you would try it?
Never knew it existed in the first place back then, way then in history and time. What type of pizza did they serve?
Your standard varieties, plain cheese, pepperoni, deluxe.
Sausage.
I believe the deluxe had sausage on it.
That was the deluxe for them. Oh.
I believe it had sausage, peppers.
That,
Different locations may have had different varieties of toppings. I'm not sure, but
I want you guys to like film.
you would prefer this to be a filmed entertainment?
Build the brand. Why not?
Yeah, I should build the brand. This should be.
Into that. You should look into that.
I mean, doesn't it sound like I could give way more?
Yes, yeah. You seem photogenic. And this would be an excellent television program. Maybe that's the next step for the next 100 episodes of.
Yep, it will help me as well.
And what's your name?
Give and take. Sabrina Leon.
Sabrina Leon. I'll try to.
How about this? Instagram, don't cut this part out.
I will
of
not
course.
cut this part out.
Instagram, the word one, ONE.SABRINA.LEON on Instagram.com. Of course, the other day, working on the I have 4 tantalizing tracks that is uploaded on SoundCloud, Instagram.
I was about to ask if you had a SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud is Sabrina Leon. Sabrina Leon. And just go listen to my demo titled, of course, capitalized demo.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for your candor.
Yeah. No.
Apologies once again for the audio quality. Thank you for listening to the 100th episode of Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's. If you are a brand who would like to sponsor the program, you can find our contact information on pizza@mcdonalds.com. If you would like to support the show in a financial capacity, please consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/pizza@mcds. I'm Brian Thompson.